In this video, you will learn how to set the dimensions of a matrix and input values into the rows and columns. You will also learn how to delete a matrix from the calculator's memory. A matrix has rows and columns. If matrix B has 2 rows and 3 columns, then it is called a 2 by 3 matrix, with the notation capital B in brackets and subscript 2 by 3. If matrix A is represented by capital A in brackets, subscript 3 by 3, then matrix A would have 3 rows and 3 columns. We will first go to the matrix mode and see if there are any matrices loaded into memory. If you have a new calculator, there will not be any, and your screen will look like the one shown to the right. However, if you purchased a used calculator, there may be some already stored in memory. Let's check this one out. If we go to second function and then matrix right here, so we'll select this button. And here it shows that we do have 2 matrices already stored into memory. So the first one is a 3 by 3 matrix A, which says 3 rows and 3 columns, and then matrix B has 2 rows and 3 columns. So to delete the matrices out of memory, we would need to go to second function and then mem right here. So select this key, and then you would go to option number 2. Mem management means memory management / delete. Select 2, and then it shows you option number 5, which is matrix. So select 5, and now it'll show you all the matrices that are stored into memory. And this particular calculator has matrix A and matrix B. So to delete them, you simply select delete and then delete. Okay? Let's go back into the matrix mode, so second function and matrix. Now you can see there are no matrices stored into memory. Now, for the systems of equations shown, enter a matrix A for the left-hand side of the equations and a matrix B for the right-hand side of the equations. So the left-hand side, if you notice, we have 3 rows and 3 columns. Column 1 is represented by the x coefficients, column 2 is represented by the y coefficients, and column 3 is represented by the z coefficients. So the first matrix A will be a 3 by 3 matrix. So to create that, we go over to Edit, we select Enter or number 1 for matrix A, and we want 3 by 3. Select Enter. So now here's 3 rows and 3 columns. Now we will enter each row 1 input at a time. So we put a 1, enter, -2, enter, and 2, enter, and then so on. So the next row would be 2, -1, -5. Now I'm going to purposely input some incorrect values here. I'm going to input 1, and it should be -1, and then I'm going to input 1 here, and then I'm going to input a -3, let's say. The reason why I'm going to input these 2 cell values incorrectly is because later I'm going to show you how to edit this matrix. So I select Enter. So then let's go back to the matrix mode, so second function matrix, and now let's create matrix B. And remember that matrix B represents the right-hand side of the equation. So there are still 3 rows, but there's only 1 column. So it's going to be a 3 by 1. So let's move over to Edit and move down to Matrix B, select Enter, and we want this matrix to be a 3 by 1. So 3 rows by 1 column, and select Enter. And there we have it. So we'll enter our values: 4, Enter, 5, Enter, and 9, Enter. Okay, so let's go back to Matrix. So now we have our Matrix A, which was a 3 by 3, and a Matrix B, which was a 3 by 1. Okay? Now let's just go back to each matrix and verify that we have the correct values. So we would move over to Edit. Then we'd select Enter for Matrix A. So if we verify the values, the first row is correct. The second row is correct. This one, remember, there was the mistake. So I need to change that. So to edit that, you would move down with the cursor to that cell value, and then you would input the correct value, -1, and select Enter. This value is correct, but this value needs to be 4. So we would move over to this cell and select 4, and then Enter. Notice in the lower left-hand corner it says 3, 3 equals 4. That means the third row, third column equals 4. Let's go back to the matrix mode and go to Edit, and we will check matrix number 2 right here. So select Enter, and we have our constant values of 4, 5, and 9. Okay? So those are correct. Now let's quit out of this. Another way to view the matrix is if you go to Second Function in Matrix, and then you would just select number 1 for A, and then it shows you on the standard screen Matrix A, and if you select Enter, it actually shows you the values here. Now you would have to scroll over to see all the cells. I don't recommend using this particular way to view the matrix. It's much easier to view it in the edit mode. I just want to make a note here, and that is, notice the cells go out to 3 decimal places, and this is because the floating point decimal is set to 3. Now you can go back into the mode key and change the floating point decimal to the amount of digits you would like to see after the decimal place. If you didn't want to see any digits after the decimal place, you can just change it to 0. This concludes the video on the matrix dimensions and editing.